Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's here. The ultimate import trade deal. It's Venezuela offering to sell us weapons at 100% below the standard market rate. That's right, instead of it costing us $15,000 to buy a gun, Venezuela's gonna give it to us for free. Jesus Christ, this is so broken. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Spiffing Brit, and today we're playing the fantastic game of Tropico 6. What is Tropico? Well, it's the greatest dictator simulator on the market. It's the only game out there where you can create your very own banana republic, and it's one of the greatest war crime simulators out there. It's quite possibly one of the few games where you can individually arrest every single one of your country's population and then force them to work in prisons for a giant profit. Now, today we're going to be playing Tropico in a very unique way, a way in which the developers definitely didn't intend the game to be played. We're going to be playing it the perfectly balanced way. You see, this is a city builder game, as well as a tycoon game to an extent, and a strategy game. However, we're going to be throwing all of that out the window and instead turning this lovely game about building up your own little island nation, and instead we're going to be turning it into a stocks and shares trading game. That's right, we're going to be simply trading commodities. We're going to have the smallest population possible, and we're going to bypass every single way in which the game wants us to actually make money, and instead create a giant monstrosity of a nation where we manipulate the game's market prices in order to have gigantic profits. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you're sat back, relaxed with a nice warm cup of tea in hand, as we're about to create the greatest dictator country of all time. So let's dive into a brand new game. Now, when it comes to actually deciding a map to settle on, we're going to pick this lovely bow game map. The reasoning is simple. It's one of the few maps that comes with an incredible quantity of coastline, and we're going to need as much coastline as possible in order to maximize our profits. Now, when it comes to starting era, we're going to start in the modern day and time. We're going to start with 50 people. We'll start with the maximum amount of starting money, but don't worry, that doesn't really matter how much money you really have. Foreign aid we can put down to fair, Caribbean happiness to moderate, political difficulty to fair, basically just default everything. There we go, absolutely perfect. We're set up and ready to game. So as I mentioned, we're going to be turning this game into a commodities trading game. So how on earth are we doing that? Well, the game has a pretty simplistic way of making money. Sure, you can basically charge your pedestrians rent and tax. However, it's much easier to actually generate money by simply growing goods out of the ground. Mass producing cash crops like corn and pineapples might be one of your few ways of actually managing to survive. Today, however, we're going to ignore all of that and instead create a monstrous economy where we're going to just be importing resources from countries and then selling those resources back to said countries for a ginormous profit. So let's start with our constitution, where of course only wealthy people are going to be allowed to vote. This is a great choice for us because no one on this island is going to be wealthy other than ourselves. Now, I've set up our basic constitution. It's all the standard stuff, you know. We've given our citizens privacy rights, we've given them free healthcare. Oh, and we've also gone for no separation of powers so that we can imprison whoever we like. Ah, yes, fairness. Anyway, let's sign our constitution. Everything is perfect. The year is 1989. We have $200,000 in the bank, and we're about to break the world's economy. So, welcome to our glorious little island. Is it not just majestic? Oh, it's fantastic. Now, currently there's not really much on our island. We just have this one port over here, which has a boat arrive every 5 months for trade. Our island has 2 homeless people, 12 unemployed people, and generally speaking, in terms of a population, we only have 13 people who actually qualify as being well off. Oh, these poor individuals. Well, you know what? We can't possibly have that. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to slash the budget of all actual buildings that we own. The reasoning is simple. It lowers the pay for every single worker that we have, meaning that they will never be able to technically be quantified as being well off. We want poor people in our society. We don't want well off people, because well off people, guess what? Well off people, they start demanding things like voting. So there's a few things we need to do in order to start making infinite quantities of money. As you can see, we are losing money quite quickly. So there's a few things that we're going to need. Firstly, we're going to need to build this gigantic cyber operations center. That's right, we're building a huge kind of hacking community, and the reasoning is simple. These guys will effectively allow us to hack into Elon Musk's Twitter account to set the market price of most of the world commodities. Equally, we're going to build ourselves a customs office, and we can just slap that down anywhere. And then of course we're also going to want to actually pick ourselves up a library so that we can start researching greater technologies. Now, the only issue with the library is that effectively we need to actually pay these guys good money, and also we need to import foreign workers from abroad. The reasoning is simple. We quite simply don't have anyone on the island who's actually educated enough to really work in a library. There we go, they'll arrive arrive on the next boat and start making lots of money for us. Now, as I mentioned, there are trade routes in this wonderful game of Tropico. We have a whole bunch of factions that we can trade with, and we have two choices: to export resources or import resources. Now, the way the market works is very simple. If you want to import a good, you're going to have to pay above the standard market rate of that good. If you want to export a good, then you can get a better deal for it. For example, exporting cigars to the USA would allow us to sell them at 6% above the actual market price. Now, the issue is at the moment there is quite simply no trade which actually allows us to turn a profit. Wait, I tell a lie. It's the ultimate trade, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to introduce to you the USA. The USA apparently has a surplus of shellfish, ladies and gentlemen, and are willing to trade us shellfish at technically ever so slightly under the market rate. Meaning if we were to buy 151,000 units of shellfish, we'd get a discount of $1,000. However, if we were to then export that shellfish to Russia, we could gain a profit. Now, it's not a huge profit, ladies and gentlemen, but effectively it is making money from nothing. We signed the contract with America to import the shellfish, and then we signed the contract to Russia to export the shellfish. Effectively, we're buying goods from America and then selling them to Russia and turning a profit on it. It's perfectly balanced and doesn't cost us anything, so we might as well do it. All that happens is every 5 months a boat will arrive to drop off shellfish, and then another boat will arrive to take out the shellfish. Right, now in order to actually set up our cyber operations, we're going to need electricity. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We genuinely need power on our tiny little island. So I'm going to build a few wind turbines over here, and then we're going to build a few electrical substations just to spread the energy around a bit. There we go. And fantastic, we now have electricity hooked up to our cyber operations center. Now, when it comes to actually turning our setup of creating a glorious island paradise where we don't actually work and instead just import and export goods, we need to actually build ourselves a bit of a nightmare. We actually need to create the perfect El Presidente. Now, our lovely El Presidente here, who you can see clipping through all of the buildings and the graveyards and the churches, oh my goodness, no physical objects can stop this man, is actually already customized with the perfect trait. He is the entrepreneur, ladies and gentlemen. He increases all export prices by 1%, which doesn't sound like much, but trust me, it eventually all adds up. Now, we're starting to make more and more money off of our freighters that are arriving in with new resources, and the reasoning is simple. We can see that revenue over the last 12 months, we've managed to gain $8,000 from exporting, and it's only cost us $5,000 to import things. Basically meaning we import goods and sell them at a higher price for maximum profits. Now, when it comes to research, we want to immediately research two things. Number one, the Caribbean Trade Pact Association, and number two, the global market economy. These two things are completely and utterly broken overpowered because they're going to allow us to destroy the balance of the economy. Equally, we've built ourselves a customs office over here where we can increase the value of all exports, and with this lovely $10,000 investment of tax evasion, we can decrease all import prices by 10% on a base efficiency. That's right, our import trade route where we import shellfish has now been reduced even further thanks to tax evasion, meaning profits are now through the roof. Now, of course, if we're going to want to stimulate this market economy even further, we're going to need a few more things. We're going to need more docks, ladies and gentlemen. As you see, docks are our main way of generating money, and currently we can only have one boat arriving every 5 months, which means we can't even export at supreme efficiency. But if we had 2 boats arriving every 5 months, well then we could fill out this trade deal even faster. Now, one thing we can also do is we can build ourselves a cargo airport. This bad boy will generate lots and lots of additional profits for us, as will allow us to import and export goods at a terrifying rate. We will no longer have to rely on the giant cargo ships that come and go and provide basic jobs for most of our peoples. Right, and there we go. We now have a giant cargo airport set up, which will set to import and export. So this bad boy will basically be importing giant quantities of shellfish and then equally selling the shellfish for a huge profit. Now, we're just a few moments away from actually completely researching the end game. Ah yes, here it is. The Caribbean Trade Pact Association. So, what is this, ladies and gentlemen, and why does it completely and utterly destroy the game of Tropico? Well, as you can see, we have 64 people living in our tiny island nation, which consists of 2 giant cargo dockyards and an airport, and also a giant cybersecurity hub and an imports office. We shouldn't be able to make much money. We should actually be hemorrhaging money at a crazy rate, but instead we're going to no longer be doing that thanks to this glorious edict here. This costs us $15,000 to use, but what it does is it creates one random export trade route for each Caribbean trade partner that we have. Now, these trade routes are absolutely insane. They're completely and utterly wild and ridiculously overpowered. So we're going to be firing this bad boy off and generating huge amounts of money. But of course, before we do that, that, we're going to quickly use our glorious Cyber Operations Center to trigger a market manipulation on the price of imports. Basically, what this will do is it will crash the cost of importing goods so that we can turn ourselves a greater profit. And there we go, we've completed our raid of market manipulation, meaning we've manipulated the prices of everything. So if we were to go to the trade screen, we can now see that there's some glorious market manipulation happening, where for example we can export iron at 52% above its actual guided price. This is insane. However, we're going to also fire off this glorious Edict of the Caribbean Trade Association, then we're going to let 1 month tick on over, and then when we check the trade screen again, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, things have gotten slightly insane. Mexico here is offering us a glorious trade deal as part of our Caribbean trade agreement. They're offering to sell us cars at 50% less than the actual market value. Oh dear. Cars usually sell for just under $30,000, but they're willing to sell us cars for just $15,000. So of course, naturally we're going to place an order for 33,000 cars, and the reasoning is simple. We can buy the cars from them and then just immediately sell them and basically double our investment. At the same time, we can do this exact same thing for canned goods from Venezuela. But here's where things get exciting, because we can sign our contract with Venezuela to get canned goods for 61% below the standard price, and then we can immediately sign an agreement with China to sell the exact same canned goods that we just bought for 7% above the market price, basically increasing our profit margins even further, as well as improving our relations with China. So we're going to do this glorious trade deal and make a huge amount of profit. Now we have quite a few trade deals going now. So we have a trade route where we import and export shellfish, and a trade route where we import cars, and a trade route where we basically buy and sell canned goods. Our first few cars have actually arrived at the docks here. We now have 7 cars in our inventory. That's absolutely fantastic. And we're going to actually set up this storage over here to store cars. This is just going to be where we basically dump our inventory of them until we decide to actually export all of them in one go. Well, we've actually now researched the customs office, so we can now pick up the reduced import taxes here, allowing us to lower import costs even further. As you can see, we now have a minus 8% cost to all imports that we receive. This is absolutely insane, and it actually increases with the more people we fill into these job roles here. Basically, we're meant to be importing the goods of cars at minus 50% costs, but in reality it's going to become minus 60%, meaning our profit margins increase even further. And I'm all about increased profit margins, my goodness. So as you can see, we have all of these cars in our inventories, and what we're going to allow is basically the transport of the cars to docks so that we can start selling them for glorious profit. It's a pretty interesting trade deal situation where basically a plane flies in and drops off cars, and then we immediately move the cars on round to a dock where we then sell them, and there we go. Now the profits are really coming in. We are selling cars at crazy quantities of value. We've just made ourselves $50,000 from just selling cars that we've bought at half price, moved from here, placed them here, loaded them onto a boat and sent them out. Now here comes the next cargo plane with a fresh new import of cars. Actually wait, no, it just deposited cars and picked up more cars, meaning the plane itself just turns profit. Okay, right. Oh, this is such a dumb trading system. Okay, we're now going to be set for life, but this isn't actually even the final form of this exploit. This is going to get even more insane, because as you see, we've now got a maxed out customs office where we're going to actually increase the efficiency by paying a greater wage. This means over on the trade section, you will notice we now receive a minus 25% discount to any imports. That's right. Imports are now cheap as heck. Also, we can now export goods to the darknet hackers of the world, but equally we can import goods from the darknet hackers of the world, which is very interesting because what we can do is we can import 80,000 worth of darknet canned goods and at the same time sell them back, all the darknet canned goods at a higher price. Look, the AI is not very good at trade deals, okay? Basically, we can buy goods at 30% less what they're worth and sell them for 40% more than they're worth. That's just printing money. There's no logical sense. That shouldn't work the way that it does, but who am I to complain? Also, you know what, I just want to jump into the middle of this video here when you least expect me to just say thank you very much. This is the first video going up after we've managed to achieve 2 million subscribers, and seriously, thank you very much. It would not have been possible without all of you lovely people who actually like all the videos and hop on into the comment section. Seriously, you guys drive the algorithm to crazy levels, allowing us to basically exploit our way to the top. Without you, we wouldn't be able to show the entire world all of these incredible game exploits, as well as all of the fantastic exploits that we managed to pull off with Steam. So seriously, thank you very much for your continued support, you incredible people. You're absolutely majestic. Now, because we have so many trade deals currently, and we have the shellfish trade deal, which is okay, but it doesn't really make us that much money, I'm actually going to completely cancel the shellfish trade deal and instead set up the glorious canned goods train. mean? Right, we're going to sell canned goods for a giant profit here, and then we're going to buy canned goods here. There we go. So the canned goods trade deal is now set up. It is quite broken, and it's going to be very, very entertaining. Oh goodness, right. In come the cargo ships with their trade deals. Right, now the cargo planes keep arriving and dropping off goods, which is fantastic. They make about 20,000 each time they do a trip. And if we check our almanac of revenue here, we can basically see where all of the money's coming from. So we import around about $40,000 worth of goods, and currently we make $70,000 from exporting them. That is a very nice, tidy profit margin, and it's only going to become stronger. Now I'm going to keep generating profit off of these freighters until I think the 3-year period passes where we can actually press the Caribbean Trade Pact Association. Wait, no, I think I can press it again now. You know what, let's do that. Okay, right, we press this button, we spend $15,000, and that refreshes all of the trade deals to include absolutely broken Caribbean trade offers. Okay, what's this? Say hello to the offer from the Dominican Republic, allowing us to import chocolate at 74% beneath the actual market rate for chocolate. This is insanity. Okay, we're going to sign ourselves up to this contract. Sure, who wouldn't want to sign themselves up for this? This is great. We're going to spend $15,000 opening up another trade license, but it's going to be worth it. I mean, we're spending $1,000 to buy something that usually costs $7,000, and then we can just immediately sell it again. Who doesn't like the profit margins on that bad boy? Well, some time has passed, ladies and gentlemen, and profits are now starting to soar through the roof. Each plane regularly nets us a profit of around about 60,000 or thereabouts, which is fantastic. We've now also set up several banks to harvest interest off of the money in our savings, which is absolutely fantastic and gives us a small quantity of profit each month. Also, we've set up a brand new completely broken trade route with the darknet people again. This time we're importing smart furniture for 30% below the standard price and exporting it for 60% above. Yep, it's a perfectly balanced trade deal where we generate a copious quantity of profits almost instantaneously. Right, once again we're going to fire off the lovely Caribbean Pact Association to open up some jazzy new trade deals, including, look at this, these are some premium trade deals. The Dominican Republic is offering to sell us surveillance drones for only 10 grand when they're usually worth 18,000. I mean, that's just an easy peasy purchase right there. Seeing as we're making decent money, I'll also do a little bit of cheeky market manipulation in order to artificially inflate prices, but ultimately at the end of the day, we've broken the entire game because we can import everything at a quarter of its value and guarantee that we can sell it for more than that. It is just insane what we can do. Basically, as soon as an item passes into the borders of Tropico, it instantaneously gains 25% more value, which is completely and utterly ludicrous and of course perfectly balanced. Now in terms of trade, we also found a few more ways to basically increase the efficiency of all of our buildings. So the customs office can actually cap out its efficiency even higher by sending El Presidente. We can get the efficiency up to about 150, meaning we can lower the base import cost of all goods by about 30%. Now we do actually have one active trade route available, so I'm going to fire off the Caribbean Trade Pact Association, which should give us a nice new trade deal. And oh, here we go. It's nothing too fancy, just shellfish hides and sugar. Not really anything that we're particularly looking for, so we won't accept any of those. Instead, we'll just have to get the lovely cyber boys to create some lovely import and export markets for us. And what's the efficiency of our customs office at? Oh, of course, it's at 152%. This now means, ladies and gentlemen, we receive any imported good that we import, we get for 30% cheaper prices. As soon as it touches our borders, we just instantaneously make it more valuable, basically. Oh my goodness, we've also got some fantastic trade offers from Mexico and Venezuela here, offering to sell us smart furniture at 40% beneath the market price. So naturally, we're going to completely and utterly buy up all of that. That's fantastic. It's just free money, really. So thank you for 2 sets of smart furniture. Can we sell it at an inflated price? Yes, we can sell it at 27% above the market price to China. Now that's very tasty. Right, now there is technically rebellion happening on the island at the moment, which is pretty standard. These people aren't very happy. But the thing is, they're just going to wander on over to our palace and maybe shoot it a bit. It should be okay. Provided El Presidente doesn't die, we should be good. Right, and here comes the combat. Ah yes, perfect. These lovely little gorillas standing outside trying to destroy my glorious red palace. Nope, the rebellion has failed. Lovely stuff. We didn't even lose any men. Now, honestly, I decided to do something quite nice. I decided to give the people of our glorious island an election, and guess what? 99 of them voted for me. That's right, 99 of the eligible wealthy population voted to keep me in. Isn't that lovely? And yes, in terms of the import wars, things are looking quite good. We're currently actively importing cars at a very discounted price, and actually it looks like we have another deal to import cars at a low price here as well. Cars from China we're importing importing them for less than 18% beneath the market price. Now, in my test game of this, I did actually manage to get an import route which was minus 100% off, where basically we didn't have to pay to import any of the goods, which was pretty broken. However, I sadly haven't had one of those trigger in today's episode. Okay, I realize I've been a complete idiot this entire time, and I've been shooting myself in the foot in terms of economy. Because I had the El Presidente club up and running, basically we were hemorrhaging corruption at a absolutely insane rate. And when corruption is up, well, guess what? You have to spend a huge amount basically waving goodbye all import costs due to corruption. This was insane, basically meaning we've been losing about half of our actual revenue from import entirely thanks to the El Presidente club existing. So there we go. Corruption is now finally decreasing. We'll hopefully be getting it right down to about 0. And as soon as we get down to basically having 0 corruption, that's when things are going to start looking much better for us. Equally, it's going to allow us to actually get much better trade deals. Oh my goodness, look how much better these trade deals are already. We can export iron at 50% its actual market rate. We can import uranium for 27 beneath the market value. No wonder I haven't had a minus 100% trade deal yet. It's because I've been too busy fighting with corruption all of this time. Oh my goodness. I am such a potato. Right, this is it. We've got the corruption down a fair bit. It's still definitely not at 0. It's at 5, which is okay, but this allows us to create an absolutely insane trade deal with the Dominican Republic here, which allows us to buy cars at 64% beneath their actual market value. That's right, we're buying cars that are worth 30,000 for just 9,000. This is absolute insanity and really shouldn't operate like this, but hey, it does. Oh my goodness, it's perfectly balanced. Now, when it comes to how much money we've actually made from imports and exports, we can actually calculate this bad boy. By looking at the airport statistics, we can see that the income for the lifetime of this entire airport is 2.5 million. For this airport here, it's 3 million. For this airport here, it's 2.4 million. And for this dock, which we've had since the start of the game, 1.95 million. So yes, airports are better than docks. And my goodness, do they make a nice copious quantity of money. Now, one thing I will do is I will just build one last cargo airport. I know we've had so many, but we might as well have another. Set this bad boy to import and export and just let it make us a huge amount of money. And good news, yes, corruption is now down to 0. What a fantastic sign. I've also just activated the diplomatic super party edict, which is absolutely glorious and perfectly balanced. Now I'll also do cyber operations to create some crazy import markets, and by combining all of these we should probably get a good right the way down to minus 100%, because after all this game is perfectly balanced and has absolutely no exploits. But here it comes, look at that. One glorious freighter airplane here just made 100,000 in one flight. Oh, this is it. It's the end of the financial world, ladies and gentlemen. We're not even producing anything in this country, we're just simply moving goods in and out of it at an incredibly fast rate. But that's all you need to turn a gigantic profit. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it's here. The ultimate import trade deal. It's Venezuela offering to sell us weapons at 100% below the standard market rate. That's right, instead of it costing us $15,000 to buy a gun, Venezuela's gonna give it to us for free. Jesus Christ, this is so broken. So we're going to sign for this trade deal, get 37,500 guns entirely for free, which we can then instantaneously sell for 100% profit. Oh, goodness. I mean, there's some really good import and export deals out there at the moment, like logistic drones are about 90% above the market rate thanks to Russia. You can sell pineapples at twice the price. It's absolutely incredible. Even China's willing to sell us guns for a huge discount. You know what? I'll actually take that. That's a good deal. We've got some fantastic trade routes going. These are glorious. I will say, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pretty sure we've completely and utterly beaten this entire game. Equally, our people love us. We're the greatest dictator known to man. We're just glorious. Absolutely glorious. Oh my goodness, the export prices are going even crazier. I have never seen a plus 103% export offer before, but China is willing to buy cars for us for 103% above the market value. Dear God. Okay, so this now means, ladies and gentlemen, we're able to import a car for $7,000 and then sell that car for $56,000. That's an 800% markup, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've been the Spiffing Brit. This has been Tropico. It's completely broken. There's no balance now. We've ruined the game without even playing the game. We haven't got an industry. We haven't engaged in diplomacy. We've basically done nothing that's highly corruption-y beyond just importing and selling cars at wondrous prices. I mean, at this point, the entire island is just one giant car dealership where we create giant profits by whacking, I don't know, a Tesla logo on a 700-year-old Trabi and then shipping it off to to America and claiming it's somehow an electric hybrid. The profits are incredible. My goodness, is it not just hilarious? So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been the Spiffing Brit, and as always, thank you very much for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, then hey, make sure to give the video a like and do consider subscribing. The next video coming up will probably be the stock market is perfectly balanced video. I've been working on the script for it for quite a while, and then following after that video, I will have my lovely, glorious YouTube exploit being eventually revealed, and it is truly majestic. But yes, beyond that, if you have any other video ideas for exploits, or maybe some exploits of your own that you want to share to the world so that everyone can revel in the enjoyment of them, then feel free to shoot me an email or a nice DM. And as always, a massive thank you to each and every one of our majestic patrons whose names appear on screen. All of you are fantastic sausages. Thank you very much for your continued support, you lovely chappies. None of this would be possible without your continued support, so thank you very much. Anyway, I will see each and every one of you in the next one. Have an absolutely lovely day, and goodbye for now.